think back to, when your time at the agency was up and you had to take that first step. So let's say right after the RNC, where you had to really figure it out on your own. There wasn't something waiting for you saying, how about doing this? What was in your mind and heart as you were taking that first step into what was less clear?
Yeah. I had been on the board for an organization called InfraGard, which is a public-private partnership between the FBI and the community. It's a nonprofit, totally run by community, but hosted by the FBI. So I had been on that board, and I had met some really interesting people in the community. So when I decided I wanted to set up my own consulting business, I went to some of the individuals that I had met through that board. And I said, how did you set up your business, and what advice do you have? And some of them recommended books, and some of them gave me some pointers, and some of them said, you're going to have to figure it out for yourself, because every time you do something, it's going to be a little bit different. But I did get some help. There was a point, too, that I wanted to mention. During my FBI career, it was my first, I did 3 tours back at headquarters. So it was during my first tour at headquarters. And one of our big bosses said, my door is open. If anybody wants career advice, come see me. His name was Bear Bryant. So, and I thought, okay, well, I'm going to just grab the bull by the horns, and I knocked on his door. I walked in his office, and of course, in those days, some of them were cigar smokers, and back then. And he says, "Well, Deb, what can I do for you?" I said, "Well, I don't really know, where I'm going, how I'm going to get there, or what. I know what the bureau's all about, obviously, and I've made it this far as a supervisor at headquarters." And his advice that stuck with me, he said, "You've got to sell yourself." He said, nobody's going to do it for you. If there's something you want, go after it. Go talk to the people that are there. Do interviews of the people where you want to be. He said, but you've got to sell yourself. And that really stuck with me. So at one point, in leaving Sacramento, it was time for a promotion. And there were a couple of offices available. But I really wanted to go to Milwaukee. My husband and I like to stay in the north, and Milwaukee was open. So I called the agent in charge in Milwaukee, and I just said, I'm Deb Pierce. I'm interested in being your number 2. My husband and I have done this. I've done that. I've got this for background. I've, all these things. And he hired me. He selected me out of 10 candidates. And when I got the job and I said to him, he goes, "You impressed me so much by doing that." I was like, oh, right, Bear Bryant was
there you
right.
Go. So have you used that tactic since?
A couple times, yeah, where, you really want to go after something, and it's not just job related, but, if you want somebody to know who you are, you've got to tell them. You can't just post it and hope they see it. You can't just wait for Karen to call them and tell them what a great person she is. You've got to do it yourself.